In this video, I'm going to show you 3 very different Facebook ad targeting strategies that use different Facebook ad campaign types. Now, I've spent more than $100 million on these 3 targeting strategies and know exactly which ones you should use and when. Let's get into it. So before you get into the specific targeting options that you might want to select within your Facebook ad campaigns, you first need to decide on which Facebook ad campaign type you're going to use, because once you select the type of campaign, that's going to have a big impact on what targeting options are even available to you as you go through the campaign creation process. And there's different ends of the spectrum. There's campaign types that allow you to have a lot of input and control as a Facebook advertiser, and others where you basically have none and it's all up to Meta. Meta's going to work out your targeting for you. Okay, so to walk you through these options, I'm in an example Facebook ad account here. The first one I'm going to talk about are Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, and quickly show you what that looks like from a targeting standpoint. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this green create button, going to go down to sales, click continue, and then you can see we've got 2 options. We've got manual sales campaigns, and then we've got Advantage Plus shopping campaign. I'll talk about manual sales campaigns later on. If we select Advantage Plus shopping campaign, I click continue here. Now the thing you'll notice about this is that there's only 2 levels to this campaign. There's, instead of having traditional 3 levels of campaign, ad set, ad, they've got 2 levels because the campaign and ad set levels are combined. And then this one here is for ad creation, right? But if we go back to this campaign and ad set level, but the equivalent of, so if we scroll down, I'm not gonna worry about this other stuff, I'm just gonna get down to the targeting section, which is here. Basically, the only input that you can have over the targeting with an Advantage Plus shopping campaign is audience location, this section here. So you can see it's defaulted to UK, but I could change that, I could add in other countries, I could get more specific, all that sort of thing, right? And you can see that Meta here is encouraging us to be broad with our targeting, even so when it comes to an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. You also have this section here, but this is very much for reporting. This is not for targeting. So you can enter in who your engaged audience is, who your existing customers are, and that's going to allow Meta to report on how much of your budget is spent on cold audience versus people who've engaged with your business versus people who've already bought from you previously. But it doesn't really affect targeting very much. This is it. It's audience location. Now, if you're new to Facebook and Instagram advertising, you might be thinking, why on earth would you not want to have more targeting input? Why on earth would you not want to say, I think you should target these people because they're likely to be interested in my products and services? Meta, how do you even know what my products and services are and who's going to be interested in them? How are you going to be able to work out who to target? What we've seen over the years is that Meta has become much, much more sophisticated at working out who to put your ads in front of, who are the best possible prospects. And they know, because they have tons of data on their users from their interactions, both on platform and off platform, what they're interested in, what they purchase, what they talk about, etc., etc. And also they use real-time feedback loops when they're running your ads. So they'll test with a setup like this where Meta's going to work it out for you. They'll put ads in front of lots of different people and they'll see who engages with them and who then goes on to convert. Most of the time going to be make a purchase, which is what you're going to optimize for most of the time with the Advantage Plus shopping campaign. And Meta will then go, aha, okay, we can see more engagement from people this age who are interested in this, who live here. Let's put more ads in front of people just like them. And those feedback loops are now very fast. Meta's algorithm for working this out, their AI for putting this in place, is very sophisticated. And we do typically see that Meta does a good job of working out who to advertise to. Now you might be thinking, okay, but why are there so few targeting options in here? And really what Meta's trying to do with Advantage Plus shopping campaigns is they're trying to eliminate advertiser error. So they're basically saying, we don't want you as the advertiser coming in, adding in lots of targeting criteria, reducing the size of your audience right down because you're likely to get worse results. That means you're going to miss out on a lot of potential customers. So they're just going, you know what, hands off. We'll manage it for you. There's also to some extent a push to protect user privacy. So if advertisers aren't selecting targeting options, but sort of Meta's doing that behind the scenes, then they're less likely to come under external pressure. Because one of the things that people often find a bit creepy about online advertising in general, if they're not familiar with it, is the ability to target people based on their behaviors online or their interests and things like that. And this sort of puts that behind the system, as it were, behind a wall where us as advertisers aren't doing it, it's being done automatically. So there is that motivation as well. So as Meta's become more and more sophisticated, we've used Advantage Plus shopping campaigns more and more. I'll talk about when you want to use which one and when once we've run through the options. But whilst to beginners this might sound crazy, it is often a really good way to go. Now, in the same way that you have Advantage Plus shopping campaigns and then manual sales campaigns, there is a tailored campaign version for lead campaigns. So you could do manual lead campaigns or you could do tailored lead campaigns. And that does have restricted targeting criteria, although it is more, there is a difference between Advantage Plus shopping and a tailored leads campaign in terms of what you can do targeting wise. But I just wanted to quickly mention it because if you're thinking, well, okay, this only applies to sales campaigns, right? There is a lead version as well that has more restricted targeting setup. We'll get back to the video in a second. Before we do, I just want to quickly let you know about my mentorship program. Now, with my mentorship program, me and my team mentor people daily to help them get the best possible Facebook ad results. We've actually had some amazing results recently from some of our mentees. We'll pop them up on screen right now. In fact, 82% of people that join my mentorship program see a notable improvement in their Facebook ads return on ad spend within just 30 days of joining. And that's a stat that I'm really proud of. There is a link in the video description below. You can click on that, come through to a page on our website and book in a free, no obligation call with one of my team members to find out more about it and see if it would be a really good fit for you. Hopefully we get a chance to work together. Okay, so the next campaign type that then impacts the targeting options that you have that I want to go through is a manual campaign. In this case, I'm going to use a manual sales campaign that then uses Advantage Plus audience targeting, not to be confused with this Advantage Plus shopping campaign. I know because they both contain the phrase Advantage Plus, that can make things confusing. And this is something that advertisers get confused on all the time on my mentorship calls. This is something that comes up all the time. Which one of these two are you actually using? People think they're the same thing. They are most definitely not. So I'm going to show you the difference now so that you understand. So I just go ahead and close that down. That's an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. If I go ahead and create a new campaign, let's go ahead and select sales again, click continue, and this time we're going to go with a manual sales campaign. So if I click continue here, we've got the three levels again, right? We've got the campaign level, the ad set level, and the ad. We know that targeting is set at the ad set level. So that's what we're going to skip through to. And I'm not going to worry about anything else within this ad set level. Instead, I'm going to come down to the targeting section. Okay, so the default in most Facebook ad accounts, not all, but most Facebook ad accounts now, is when you create a manual campaign, this is going to apply to manual sales campaigns, just like manual lead campaigns, is to have this setup where you have Advantage Plus audience targeting. You can see that down here. And what you get with Advantage Plus audience targeting is a combination between this audience control section and then Advantage Plus audience. So the difference between the two is that anything that occurs that you input within audience controls are hard targeting criteria, is in Meta, follow these as rules. I only want to target people that meet this criteria. Whereas anything you enter as Advantage Plus audience targeting down here is a suggestion. You can see it literally says audience suggestion down here. So in the audience controls part, we have things like location. Just like with the Advantage Plus shopping campaign, it's like, look, I only want to advertise in these locations. If I'm a local business, it's only around here. Maybe I only want to advertise in one country. Maybe I want to advertise in specific countries, but Meta, don't sort of violate that targeting criteria. Just stick to that, please. There are some other options as well. If I click see more options, you can set a minimum age, only goes up to 25, but there are all sorts of products and services that you can only advertise to people over a certain age. And that's going to vary between country, right? So that might be really important of, okay, I have to advertise legally to only people over the age of 21. For this particular product. You can exclude custom audiences, so you can specifically exclude warm audiences. Let's say you're running a new customer offer that you don't really want your existing customers to see. That would be a good use case. And then you can be specific around languages. Okay, so those are the options you've got in audience controls. Then we come down to the Advantage Plus audience section, and these are suggestions. So you can enter in things like age ranges, gender targeting, and then detail targeting. So for example, if we were running ads for our own stuff to cold audiences, we might add in something like social media marketing, people who are interested in social media marketing, right? So I can go ahead, I don't want job titles, I don't want employers, I want that as an interest. Another thing to just watch out for in targeting. So I might have something like this. But all these criteria are suggestions. So even if I set an age range of, I don't know, 25 to, let's say 55, if Meta believes there is someone outside of that age range, younger or older, who may well be perfect for what we're advertising here and likely to convert, they will still put ads in front of them. Likewise, if you select along gender lines, if you say, look, I want to go advertise only to men, if Meta feels like there are some women that might really convert or vice versa, then they will then they will put ads in front of them. The same applies to detailed targeting. And you can also, with Advantage Plus Audience, add in custom audience sections. So this could be warm audiences, this could be lookalike audiences. And if you add a warm audience in here, let's say website visitors as an example, okay? So let's go ahead and add in website visitors. Website visitors 180 days. And there's loads of custom audiences in there because this is an example ad account. So let's say we add website visitors 180 days. Well, yes, Meta can target those people, but it can also go outside of that as well and target people who haven't visited your website in 180 days. Again, if the system believes that there are good prospects out there that are likely to convert. So these things are all suggestions. And this is kind of a clever hybrid between just fully trusting Advantage Plus shopping campaigns where you have no control, but also going the other end and not giving Meta the flexibility and saying, I only want to target these people. With Advantage Plus audience targeting in manual campaigns, you kind of get to benefit from both worlds. You get to say, look, Meta, here's some direction, here are some warm audiences of mine, here's some interest targeting options that I think apply. Why don't you start there, but then you have the flexibility to learn and target other people from there after that. Then the third campaign type that I want to talk about is manual campaigns, just like this one. So manual sales campaign, manual leads campaign. But instead of using Advantage Plus audience targeting, where you have this split I just demonstrated between audience controls and Advantage Plus audience, instead what you do is you come down here and you switch to original audience options. Now Meta's going to recommend you don't do that. They're going to say you're likely to get worse results, up to 33% lower cost per result if you use Advantage Plus audience, but you can override and go ahead and say, no, I want to use original audiences. Now, once you do that, you will see that when it comes to your targeting option, you've obviously got the warnings I just talked about, but your targeting setup is basically what it used to be before Meta introduced Advantage Plus shopping campaigns and before they introduced Advantage Plus audience, right? So here you're entering things like custom audiences, locations, age ranges, gender, detailed targeting options. And these can act as hard constraints, as in, don't Meta go outside these. These aren't suggestions anymore. These are, I only want to target these people. Now, for this to properly work, as in literally just target the people within your targeting criteria, you do need to deselect any targeting expansion options, which are turned on by default. So for example, this one here, Advantage Custom Audience, is saying you can reach people beyond my website visitors. So you would want to deselect that. Again, Meta's going to tell you not to, recommend you don't do that. And then depending on what other targeting inputs you've selected, you might have other targeting expansion. We can see we've got Advantage Detailed Targeting here. Now, not in all ad accounts, I should say, can you actually even turn these off anymore? Like in some ad accounts, you can't turn off Advantage Custom Audience or Advantage Detailed Targeting. That's going to vary ad account to ad account. Some ad accounts don't have original audiences, this whole setup, as an option anymore. But this is the option that gives you as the advertiser the most control. If you wanted to be really specific and say, no, I only want to advertise to those people. Now, I'll talk about which one you should use and when in a minute. But before I do that, I want to make a really, really important point. And that's that the data we receive by default in our Facebook and Instagram ad accounts is nowhere near as accurate as it used to be. But in order to get the best out of your Facebook ad campaigns, no matter which campaign type you choose, no matter which targeting option you choose, you have to have accurate data. Without that, you can't optimize the campaigns and Meta can't optimize the campaigns. And we've seen, especially with campaign types like Advantage Plus shopping campaigns and things like that, where Meta has more control, that is absolutely crucial. Now, the solution to that low quality data by default is Hyros. Hyros is the best tracking and attribution software for Facebook and Instagram ads. It's a software that all the big players, including myself, use. I use it to track the results that I generate from my own ads. I also use it for all my organic content as well, which is really useful. So if someone comes through and books a call for our done for you services, for example, I can see exactly where they came from with a lot of accuracy, and that allows me to make decisions in my business, which is really, really helpful. And let me quickly show you how important this is. So I'm in my Hyros dashboard. I've isolated one of our Meta ad campaigns and I've created a report for it so we can see the data and you can take a look at this. So this campaign spent just under £2,000, generated £15,000 in revenue. But here's the really important bit, reported versus revenue. And in this column, we can see £12,000. Now what that means is that out of the £15,000 that this campaign has actually generated, Hyros has been able to report on the full 15,000, £12,000 of which Meta was not originally able to see. So if we're just looking within our Meta ad account, not using Hyros, we would have seen that £3,000 of revenue was generated from this campaign, and that is not true at all. That is a much lower ROAS number than the actual £15,000 of revenue that was generated. For a number of years now, Meta's ad tracking capabilities have not been as accurate as they once were because all sorts of privacy regulations have come into effect, and it's only heading that way. It's only becoming more and more difficult to get accurate data and track our results as we need to be able to do. This is a relatively extreme case, and the reason why is because Meta has a 7-day maximum attribution window, and this is an ad campaign that's retargeting for one of our services that people usually take a lot longer than 7 days to make a decision on. So if someone clicks on an ad, they often won't convert within 7 days. Meta's simply not able to see that data, and that's where Hyros comes in. The important thing is that you need accurate data, and Hyros takes care of that. So if you want to get better results from your Facebook ads without actually having to touch your ads, go ahead and sign up to Hyros. There is a link in the video description. So which one of these 3 campaign types should you be using? So more often than not now, we are going to use Advantage Plus shopping campaigns for our clients. That's typically what we are going to use. And we've been transitioning that way for some time because through enormous amounts of testing, we found that more often than not always, but more often than not, that is going to produce the best results for our clients. But what I should say is that most of the time when we start working with a client, they've already been running Facebook and Instagram ads for a while. They've already proven that the platform can work for them, can generate leads, generate sales. What that means is that their ad account has data in it. And we have found, and it kind of makes sense logically, that Advantage Plus shopping campaigns perform better when that ad account has conversion data. Because of course, that's how Meta's going to work out who to put ads in front of and all the other optimization points, like how often to put ads in front of them and that sort of thing, right? So the more sales that you actually have in an ad account, the more likely an Advantage Plus shopping campaign is going to perform well. And that is the scenario with a lot of the clients that work with us. They've already been running that before. But if you're not in that scenario and you are a beginner or you've got a relatively new ad account that doesn't have a lot of conversion data, then I do like that middle option, that hybrid option where you're using Advantage Plus audience. You're using a manual, either sales or leads campaign. It can work for either. And then you're using that Advantage Plus audience targeting option to give Meta some direction, some targeting suggestions, some initial idea so that Meta's not testing from just, the pool of humanity. They are actually sort of targeted initially, but it also gives Meta that flexibility to work out who to target. You're not going to make big mistakes, making your audience far too small and being too restrictive and preventing your ad campaigns from reaching a lot of potentially good leads, a lot of potentially good prospects that might purchase and become customers and all that sort of thing. Okay, so for me, it's a nice hybrid. I would not recommend that you use original audiences and then deselect all the targeting expansion options like I discussed, unless you have a very specific reason to do so. It's very easy to do that and mess things up. And if I just jump back to the ad account, I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So within this original audiences setup, I've got a custom audience in here, website that's 180 days. I've also narrowed down by age range a bit, and I've narrowed down by interest, and I'm only targeting the UK. And because this is an example ad account, it doesn't have the pixel set up on like my website, it's on an example website because of demonstration purposes. We can see that the estimated daily results here reach less than 10. Basically, this campaign won't run, it won't put ads in front of people. Why? Because I've gone in and messed up the targeting setup here. I've been too specific. I've got custom audiences in alongside other targeting options like interests and things like that. Not something you want to do with original audiences. Absolutely fine with Advantage Plus audience, because with that setup, Meta has the flexibility to go beyond those people. So they'll start with your website visitors, they'll start with people interested in social media marketing, but also go and advertise to others if they think that's going to get you good results and is appropriate, but not with this setup. So it's very easy with original audiences to mess things up. And that's why Meta's really moving away from it and makes it harder to find, and they don't recommend when you switch to it. You saw there are all sorts of, no, don't do this, this is not going to get you the best results. However, there are some specific scenarios where original audiences might be the right option to go with. So if you wanted to retarget people and be very, very specific that you're only reaching a specific audience and not going beyond that, I've talked about that being an advantage for most businesses, but for some that's not great. Let's say you wanted to hit people at a certain stage of your sales funnel. You've got a 3-step sales funnel and you want to advertise only to people that have already gone through step 1, but not yet gone through step 2. And you don't want to advertise to people that have already gone through step 2. So you're just after that slice of your sales funnel and you want to make sure that they see ads that get them to the next level, then that might be a really good way to go. A specific warm audience only offer might be something that's not available to new customers. Well, again, you might want to get really specific and only advertise those people, and original audiences with all the targeting expansion options turned off might be the way to go there. Okay, so there are some specific use cases, but that would not be the default for a lot of businesses, and you can make mistakes with it. So I think Advantage plus shopping campaigns or Advantage plus audience manual campaigns, I know the terminology is confusing, hopefully you now understand, are going to be the way to go for most businesses. And what I would say around which one to go with those two is that the more conversion data you get, the more likely Advantage plus shopping is going to work really well for you. The less you have, perhaps lean more towards manual campaigns and Advantage plus audience. That will obviously change over time, so reassess that. Don't just think, okay, I'm Advantage plus audience with manual campaigns, and then not reassess a few months down the line when you've got more conversion data. And if you haven't already, absolutely test both of those, because we still find, even in ad accounts with a lot of conversion data, that sometimes manual campaigns with Advantage plus audience produces better results, and vice versa. Ad accounts with not a lot of conversion data doing really well with Advantage plus shopping campaigns. So really important to test both of those. Very quick and easy to replicate and use a different style. You can use the same ad creative and run a short-term test to see which performs best for your business, and always be led by the data and be willing to adjust, right? The way I think Meta's going to go is more towards the Advantage plus shopping campaigns, where Meta has more control over the targeting, and us as advertisers need to focus on other things for competitive advantage, like creative offers, things I talk about all the time. But yeah, that is just something to be aware of in terms of the thought process of which one should you use. Run it through those filters, test, and then go with what you see as best, but reassess that, maybe run that test every 6 months or so as your ad account matures and as the platform gets more sophisticated at generating conversions. So you now know which Facebook ad targeting strategy you should use, and if you want to go one step further and work out the specific targeting options that would produce the best results for your Facebook and Instagram ads, go ahead and watch this video. In it, I show you everything you need to know targeting wise from a targeting creation and setup standpoint, right? So how to create custom audiences to retarget, how to create lookalike audiences, and the detailed targeting options, all that sort of stuff. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check this out.